space anymore. Come back to us.
I'm about to be in space right after this, though. Let me tell you.
So is he. He's going right back into orbit.
Let me tell you, I didn't play it at all yesterday because I picked up Baldur's Gate on PS5, and so it was really fun. It's my brother's kind of like first introduction to D&D, right? But I sat there the entire like 9 hours that we played Baldur's Gate. I was like, man, I can't wait to play more Starfield.
Yes, because welcome to the Shared Screens podcast. If you thought we meant getting high when we were talking about going into orbit or back to space, we don't. Starfield just released, and we are...
I mean, it's a good combination.
I'm both, though, you know?
Like, hey, listen, Gene Park himself, I'm not even saying this, Gene Park himself said Bethesda games are made to just, like, smoke a blunt, too.
And that voice you are hearing is Jordan Deeb. I am your host, Lear and Jazz. We are also joined by Chris Rumblepack. Hey. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. I definitely didn't take a nap earlier and then delay the recording of this by like an hour. That didn't happen.
I could have cooked and eaten.
Yeah, well, there was a part of me when you sent that message that was like, oh shit, I forgot we were recording. Good thing I didn't put the food in the pan, where I was like, my makeup's not done yet. Put the food in the pan. I'll be done before my face is. What I do appreciate, Chris, about you making this late is I didn't fully dry my hair after I showered because I was running late and didn't feel like it. And I was worried that it was going to make my shirt wet and give me, like, lactation spots. It fully dried now. It's beautiful. It's fully dry. I can put it wherever I want.
It was all on purpose. It was all for a good cause, you know?
Do not scratch the bed. Absolutely fucking not.
In our secret fourth guest.
Sorry.
Wow, she popped up right on cue.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. She heard. She knows.
We got the bead. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to bring up is it is the beginning of September. I am me. Hozier just released a new album. My only shot here is Chris. Have you listened to Unreal Unearthed?
I have.
It's so good. Okay, before I gush, what do you think of it?
So here's my thing with Hozier, right? I remember when he first popped off with Take Me to Church. And I was like, that's a pretty cool song. This is pretty interesting. And I listened to the rest of that record back when it came out, and I was like, not really my thing. Right? Like, I respect it. Not super for me. Cool. Then, years and years later, Hozier did a track for the God of War Ragnarok soundtrack.
Ooh.
Which is phenomenal.
I listened to that a couple days ago. It was just stuck in my head again.
All the time. And that was one of those things where I went, okay, I think it's time to try and give Hozier another shot. And like right as I did that, he dropped this new album, Unreal Unearthed, and I went, perfect.
You should really also listen to Wasteland Baby, because I do Wasteland Baby. Okay, so here's the thing. Hozier has 3 albums. His self-titled album, Hozier, that is Take Me to Church. He has Wasteland Baby, and he now has Unreal Unearthed. Yep. Which, Jordan, because you may not be up on Hozier lore, Unreal Unearthed is all inspired by the 9 Circles of Hell and Dante's Inferno. It is a journey. It is basically the journey of Dante's Inferno, using Irish history and history from all over the world as a, like, way of getting into, like, the song that is about the Circle of Hell that is violence is all about it's called Butchered Tongue, and it's all about how the British actively worked to ruin Celtic names culture. and blast Celtic culture off of the planet, and talks about how, like, he references the place names. It's a whole fucking thing. Beautiful, man.
Guess that.
Beautiful, man. I love him.
It's wild. And so, like, I don't particularly get too into like the indie rock, like R&B kind of style that most of his stuff usually is, but this one hit a little different. Like, it's not like my favorite album in the world or anything, but this record's really fucking good. I'm actually listening to it right now. That opening track, the Selby Part 1. Woo!
Eat Your Young. Really good. Eat Your Young, which is the single off the album. Bop. I know it's basic. It's a fucking bop. Bop. Really, and then the last song on the album is Abstract Psychopomp, which if you don't know, a psychopomp is somebody in mythology who takes spirits of people who have just passed away into the underworld. So, you know, the guy who rows the boat across the river Styx, whose name I never remember, he's one.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
He was called Nyx in Hades.
that's his mother in actual Greek mythology, so that's not far off.
Yeah.
But and so the entire song is him talking about when he was a young kid, he saw an animal get hit by a car, and this random person go running off the sidewalk into traffic, almost got hit, to pick up the animal, bring it to the sidewalk, and hold it while it died. And it talks about how like that's what love and tenderness is, and how you find hope when the world seems like completely hopeless. I will fully admit I am one of those people where the holy trinity to me is Harry Styles, Hosier, and Taylor Swift of like songwriting.
Okay,
like
sure.
there are people that is our triangle. I found them on TikTok. We also are now huge Noah Khan fans because Stick Season, fantastic album.
Let's talk about Stick Season, though.
Stick Season is so good, Chris. It's so good. It's so good.
It's so funny to see Noah Khan like popping off now because my sister-in-law is like really big into like country music and that sort of thing, and Noah Khan's more of like an indie, what's the term for it? Like
grassroots bluegrass.
Bluegrass. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Grassroots is politics.
I'm still waking up. Yeah, like a bluegrass sort of thing. But I've been slowly getting more into like, I call it country adjacent stuff, more in like the outlaw country, that sort of thing. Not like the shit you hear on the radio, that sort of thing.
Because and so I will forget.
She sent me Stick Season like back when it first came out, and I listened to it. I was like, this is awesome. And then he did a track with Post Malone. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. And now I see him everywhere. Like, just all of a sudden, he's all over the place. But Stick Season is so fucking good.
Stick Season is so good. Also, if you're getting into that kind of like bluegrass country adjacent music, I highly recommend listening to Human Overboard by James the Shame. It's Rhett McLaughlin from Good Mythical Mornings album. It's like a country adjacent, and it's all about his deconstruction from evangelical Christian culture.
I remember the single he put out. I didn't know that he had the record.
Good. Oh my god, wait, okay, vamp while I go get the vinyl, because I gotta show Chris how pretty this vinyl is.
So part of the reason I started getting into Noah Khan, though, is as you know, I am a rather large Post Malone fan. I do love my boy. And a lot of people call Noah Khan, like even before he did this track with Posty, they called him Folk Malone.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, I'm in. Like, I immediately understand the vibe with Folk Malone, right? Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite albums of all time. This is the cover. It's him being dragged underwater by a mythical biblical creature that I don't remember the name of. Noah's Ark that he fell off of is back here.
It also does look like the Christ getting baptized and walking on water as well.
It's also because Rhett McLaughlin just kind of looks like Jesus with his hair ever since COVID.
Beautiful hair.
So then he's, it's got a beautiful insert. Look at this record.
Is it colored vinyl? Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It's the most beautiful thing I own. It's gorgeous.
I love those sorts of things. I've got a decent vinyl collection starting to come together now, and of course, a lot of my stuff is very much like really heavy, like metalcore, that sort of thing. And so doing like the colored vinyls like that with like cool patterns and colors and shit, I've got a bunch of them. I might have to do a show and tell or something sometime.
I have I'm slowly procuring all of the Taylor Swift colored ones, because they're all beautiful. She has one for Midnight that the vinyl looks like wood. It's the mahogany edition.
My sister has that one.
It's beautiful. I love colored vinyl.
It's really cool.
I just need to nerd out about music for a second because so much good music has come out.
I listened to the new Young Gravy album.
The new Young Gravy is.
I liked it. I like him and Baby No Money together. All that Baby Gravy's great, man.
Baby No Money, I genuinely love. Young Gravy is kind of the new, not Pink Guy. It's not that extreme, but Pink Guy.
I haven't.
Not familiar with Pink Guy?
No, I don't know if that's the name of an artist or if that's like a term.
Pink Guy was like a musician on the internet who just made the most ridiculous fucking music you've ever heard. It's very much like a meme, like almost like a meme sort of thing. But Pink Guy later turned into
Young Gravy is definitely shit posting in his music, and I respect it.
No, Pink Guy later turned into Joji. Like that's who Pink
Guy is.
Fucking
Filthy Frank.
Yeah.
I never got it. Like, I had friends that thought he was the funniest thing ever, and I just never found the humor in it.
Yeah, I mean, it was very much like
the hair cake made me gag
early like 2010s, like really extreme internet.
Yeah, but they were watching
stuff
this
that
in like
holds up.
2015, 2016.
Sure.
I was like,
oh yeah,
I
knew
don't
people
find
like
this
that.
funny.
Yeah,
However,
I knew people like that too. Joji's really good though, but I kind of put him and Young Gravy in that sort of same situation where it's shitposty music. I don't know how else to describe it, right? Like
but
it's a
his
joke.
also has a beat, and he also like.
But Young Gravy, I think is more like professional music than
because
than
he's also like sampling old music but making it like dirty, which is like I feel like upsets old people, which is always fun. But what my favorite Filthy Frank meme is somebody said, I wonder if that pink morph suit calls out to him like the Goblin Mask.
Oh my god.
He pulled
Jordan
out this suit and played a few like old Pink Guy songs at a Joji show once without like telling anyone that he was going to do it. And like none of the kids there like knew who the fuck Pink Guy was, and so they were all just like confused, like with like of him doing a bunch of like Filthy Frank bits while he was there, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Did you see that the Jonas Brothers brought on the
yes,
of the bass guys, and half the audience had no idea who they were?
Oh my god! Yeah, they hired him for Joe's birthday, and no one knew who they were.
DJ Crazy Times and Miss Biljana Electronica.
Well, I love Kyle Gordon. Like I've seen a bunch of his TikToks and Instagram reels. Right, like he just knows how to like make very stock parodies of like these things we all know, but I can't place.
What's been incredible about the Planet of the Bass? One, incredible song. Two, incredible music video. Three,
Women Are My Favorite Guy is a
Women Are My Favorite Guy. Life, It Never Die. But fucking, it's also a pitch perfect parody of like early 2000s Eurodance. Like it is dead on like music exactly sounded like that. Like I don't understand how well he did that.
I don't even think if you told me, have you ever listened to 2000s Eurodance music? I would be like, of course I have. Be like, that's a fucking genre. But then if you play me that, I'd be like, no, that is exactly what that sounds like. Like I know it. I don't know that I know it.
Oh yeah,
which is true with 99% of music. Chris, when the last season, no, shut up. When the last season of Bridgerton was coming out, we were looking. They released the album that has all the covers they do before the season, and they released it. And I was like, oh, Material Girl is in this season. And Jordan goes, I don't know what that is. And I was like, Material Girl by Madonna. And he goes, I don't know what that is. I was like, I guarantee you know what this is. No. There's no way that you had never heard that song before. I just think you don't recognize songs you don't listen to consistently.
That's fair. I'm very
because
much
sometimes songs will I'll remember songs again. That's
been because
last month.
That's what happened. In our Lost Taylor Swift episode, because the audio got fucked up, there were a ton of songs that you were like, oh yeah, I know this. Like I know this song. It's like
I'm listening to Planet of the Bass right now. It's a fucking slap. I think my favorite thing about it though too is that like it blew up with a lot of like the Zoomer kids and stuff, and I was like, most of them were children back when this style of music was really popular. Well, like they don't get it. That's like I don't know that so many of the kids that are listening to this understand that it's the joke of
a parody. Yeah,
right.
Well, I also feel like that's where if I ever heard early 2000s Eurodance was like at birthday parties when I was a kid, and it's just ingrained. Like I don't think this is European dance, but like there's that Bryan Adams Heaven cover that's just like way more poppy.
Oh, that's DJ Sammy. Yeah, that's Euro. That's Euro.
Yeah, like that version of Heaven I knew before the real one.
Because the only Euro dance people I can name because the songs were really popular because they were clean and could be played at like
birthday parties and
birthday parties and Chuck E. Cheese and bar mitzvahs. Cascada, Every Time We Touch. That's Eurodance. Like her and DJ Sammy are the only ones I knew. Yeah.
Which is, I think, the greatest song in that entire genre, right?
Well, can we also talk about the thing with Every Time We Touch is, as a child hyped up on caffeine, it's great to dance to and just rock out. Yeah. As an adult, shit-faced in a drag bar, the best, a new experience of existence.
See, I want to play it in Beat Saber because there's just something about the. Now I feel like on Beat Saber, if I was like good at that, would be so fucking lit.
So.
There used to be so many anime girl edits to Cascada on old YouTube.
So many, man. So there's this band that I listen to called Electric Callboy, who
Good.
who are it's if you're not into the screaming thing, they might be a little hard to get into, but it like literally is like they're this metalcore band from Germany.
Good.
And their whole thing is that they essentially like took like techno and Eurodance and mashed it in with like screaming metalcore shit. Right? It's party metal. There's no other way I can
That's like
describe
a whole scene over there.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's really good. They did a cover of Every Time We Touch.
Good.
And it's unbelievable. It's so good, and I will have to send you guys the music video for it because they have like two singers, like the one who does the scream and one dude who does all the singing. And in the music video, they're like dancing together and picking each other up. Like it's fabulous. And also, yeah, if you're into like dancing music, listen to Electric Callboy. They're really funny.
Were you on the podcast where I was telling Chance about the punk emo cover of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush that I found and I listened to at the gym?
Is that not at a meeting?
Was it by a band called Our Last Night?
No, it's like Heart something.
Okay, because I was about to say
I don't know if that's
refuse to
actually
listen to
right.
anything by Our Last Night, but that's fine. Yeah.
It's not Our Last Night.
I love
fucking-
finding covers that are just the genre you don't expect.
They're
Loveless, not Heart anything. It's by a band called Loveless.
Oh, I know Loveless. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a cover of Running Up That Hill that I am fucking obsessed with. I listen to it all the time, and I listen to it at the gym a lot. When you're doing cable rows, like not the machine, like the hard cable rows. Yeah, it is the best because I always get like halfway through my second set, and I'm like, I should lower the weight. Like, this is really starting to hurt me. I should lower the weight. And I just put on that, and like, it's that and Demi Lovato's Holy Fuck album pretty much in its entirety.
Oh, that was good.
It's the only time I listen to like metal is at the gym.
I really, really miss when like the metal punk / emo alternative scene, whatever you want to call it. There was a running thing that came out for a while. It was this album series called Punk Goes Pop.
Punk Goes Pop, yeah. That's where the dope-ass cover of Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift that I also listened to at the gym.
I've heard the Mayday Parade cover of Jason Derulo's in my head.
I
ironically fuck with.
It's really good. And then Mayday Parade also did... oh no, I can't remember the name of the song. Hold on, I'm gonna go find
it. I know this wasn't part of that, but we have to shout out the Alien Ant Farm Smooth Criminal.
Oh yeah, Alien Ant
the
Farm.
Only Smooth Criminal that isn't Michael Jackson's that I know is the one from Glee. Which one day, if you want to see something fucking weird, look that video up.
I'll look that up if you listen to the Alien Ant Farm one.
Mayday Parade did a cover of Somebody That I Used to Know.
Ooh,
and it's better than the original, dude. It's so good. I was just
thinking of that dude because I feel like he's like the inverse Hosier.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but they feel like two sides of the same coin. Like,
wasn't he Irish too? The guy that originally did Somebody That I Used to Know.
I have no idea. I hate.
Are we sure he's not Hosier?
It's not Hosier. I promise.
You gotta respect that somebody that comes out, drops a banger, makes millions of dollars off of it, and then falls off the face of the earth, though, right? Like,
he's
like,
Australian.
Respect, man.
I was gonna sound Goity does not sound like an Irish. Oh my god, his name is Wally. Jesus Christ.
Wally?
It's short for Wallaby.
No, it's short for Wotair because he is Dutch.
Oh well, all right, then never mind.
Yeah. His voice has been compared to Peter Gabriel. By who?
Him.
Yeah, like...
kind of sound like Peter Gabriel.
He's been compared to Peter Gabriel and Sting. As somebody who has listened to a lot of the Police pre-Phil Collins and a lot of Sting, he does not sound like either of those men. You want to be confused by music written when the writers were high on drugs? Listen to "Sunshine in My Stomach" by the Police. That is the weirdest song I've ever heard.
Somebody that I used to know had like a chokehold on society.
Dude, I was obsessed with that song when I was younger. Like it just
back in like 2012. Hits. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It hits. It's a banger, bro.
I hate that song.
I love it.
You know what song that I originally found in middle school? I rediscovered. Like it came on in the shower this morning, and I forgot like how fucking good it was, even though it's something I shouldn't have been listening to in middle school. What? Hollywood's Undead Everywhere I Go.
You should not have been listening to Hollywood Undead at all.
No, just that's the only song I know, and I don't even know if I should sing part of it.
Because no, dude.
No, because I don't want to get claimed. So no, but
what happened was I saw a TikTok of it, and it was somebody jamming out to it, and over her dance, there was the text going, "The feminism leaving my body when I hear the song," because the song is just fucking vulgar.
Yeah, it's awful.
Hollywood and Dead, especially on that first record, are just like the most like misogynistic assholes that you'll ever hear in the music scene, dude.
And I always get mad at musicians like this because it's like, this is not the musician way. This is not what musicians are. Like, fuck off. Like, whenever people are like, I can't believe Rage Against the Machine is liberal, it's like, no, that's what musicians are supposed to be. Oh, yeah. Like, that's what artists are. What? Yeah, who do you think the machine is? But also, like, artists are never really down with conservative views. It just does not, like, mesh with the lifestyle.
And then I feel like there was, like, this weird moment where that, at some point, it almost shifted in a way. Not permanently, or even for that long a time, but, like...
I think it shifted a lot for children, where it was like, if you were a child star, you had to be a pure, innocent little virgin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like, why were we talking about the Jonas Brothers' virginity? Like,
it was such a big deal that they were wearing
that's weird.
Rings. Yeah,
and that's weird. Like, and looking back on that, that's really strange.
Time, like they were also like outspoken Christians or some shit.
Their father was
back when they first started too. Yeah.
Yeah. Their father was
so it's like I understand how that goes. There's somebody that was my father as a pastor. Like a lot of the music I had listened to was like Christian music, right? Like that was very much like a thing.
It just
there was really... also like this really cool boom in like the late 2000s of like genuine very, very good artists like actually putting out like good Christian music. Like I know there's the fucking the Bobby Hill joke of him being like, it's like, stop with, you're not making Christianity better, you're just making rock and roll worse.
Yeah.
I will fight to the death that like within like the punk and metalcore scene in the late 2000s, there's some very genuinely good like bands who were Christians, and most of them have deconstructed and pulled away from that at this point.
Well, okay, I mean, I know this band gets a lot of hate on the internet, but it turns out like they're based as fuck. Imagine Dragons, going back to Starfield, because they just released a song for Starfield. All their music sounds exactly the same, but they're like, I don't know if they officially left, but like they're very outspoken Mormons about like what Mormons believe, and like have done a lot of charity shows for LGBTQ foundations and whatnot. And like, I kind of like, why are we giving them shit? They're pretty cool if you ask me.
It's because you can be a good person and your music still be bad.
That's fair. That's also fair.
Like, just like you can be a bad person and the art you create still be good. It's fucking annoying when bad people create good art, but it's an unfortunate truth of being human.
So often, too, is the problem.
All right, what's our favorite
money corrupts. Money corrupts. You know, money, I will die on the hill that money corrupts.
New Media Club. What's our most favorite problematic piece of media or artist?
College Dropout by Kanye West.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Kanye is definitely, I think, like, for a lot
up there,
of people.
right? Like, yeah, because dude, like, revolutionized like hip hop, like for a while. Like, he changed the genre.
All right, let's not do this. Let's not do this, Jordan. Let's not do this.
And then.
I know I opened this door. Guys, I feel like we've been recording for an hour. We've been recording for 20 minutes, and we have bounced over like...
This is going to be the most...
editing this?
It's going to be the most chaotic, like
I just realized it's 3 people with ADD. It's 3 people with ADHD on the podcast alone.
Meeting, they were like, hey, let's put the 3 like most mentally unstable people on a podcast together and see what happens.
Sick, I'm editing it. I can have the fucking time of my life with this. I do have a topic I want to bring up because I need to talk about it. So absolutely. I love to watch documentaries because I'm a white woman. Don't come for me. I'm all for ethical true crime. I don't think true crime.
True crime? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This one isn't. I don't know if this one is technically true crime or like what this would fall under.
It's very low stakes true crime, I guess.
Well, no, it's how we found out Josh Duggar is a bad person. Or was the beginning of us finding out Josh Duggar was a bad person. I watched the Hulu documentary. What?
I think I've seen what you're about to talk about.
I watched the Hulu Ashley Madison affair scandal documentary yesterday or 2 days ago. Because when I work from home, I've been sick this past week, and when I work from home, I like to put documentaries on because it's enough for me to pay. I either put on documentaries or D&D because it's enough for me to pay attention to, but I can also get my work done. And holy shit. Holy shit. I remember... It's wild. And I remember the Ashley Madison scandal happening. I didn't, obviously, at the time, I was like 15. I didn't really understand, like, what that meant. Like, because I like knew that their emails, their credit card information, and all of that was leaked. I didn't realize all of their nude photos were leaked. All of the sexual fantasies that they listed on their profiles were leaked. Like, it's crazy. And because so many men on that website, their profile picture was just their dick pic. So, like, people,
Oh my god.
And so after the hack, people set up websites where you could just type in a name and it would pop up if they were on the list with their name, their email, their credit card information, these dick pics, all their sexual fantasies. It's very weird.
Honestly, that should be the dating apps these days. Just let me know everything about you. Let me see you naked. Boom.
No. You can, Jordan, my love. You can say that because you're a man. This is one of those things where I love you so much, but that is an opinion only a man can hold. Because,
oh my
god. Just to the chase. I don't care about your favorite color.
No, I'm ending this. No. Oh my god, Jordan. That only Jordan.
Well, it's been really nice doing shared screens with you these past 3 years. You know, like it's been really cool. I don't think I can continue.
Jordan.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
From a woman's perspective, absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
No, it's a joke. I'm aware.
But we're not going to go there. We're not going to be like people need to be more. No, that is a thing. Because do you know what dating app is like that? Because it's the only place it can be safely done. Grindr. Because it's all men. Yeah. That is why Grindr is like that. Women can't do that and live. Like, obviously, we obviously have. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the interface of Grindr. Because I don't. Oh God, I have a lot.
I have because of screenshots and friends.
And like I did theater when I was younger. I continued to do theater. I write. I have a lot of queer friends. Grindr, for men, I get why they're like, oh, it's fine that it shows distance up to 100 feet. Like that's totally cool. That makes it easier. It shows distance up to 100 feet away.
A comedian straight up said, Tinder shows people by the mile. Grindr shows how close people are by the foot. So, like, if you're in a bar and there's other people wanting to fuck that night, you will know.
In the bar, you can, like, yeah. And I understand why for men, that's not the scariest thing you've ever heard. But as a woman, that is...
that's horrible.
Grindr would never work.
That's horrible. I would, like, even as a guy, like, I would not want that out there. There's got to be a distance, you know? Like, there's got to be a separation there.
Because it's like that, it's so much more quick and sexual that a lot of men there have just their profile pictures being
like it is. A lot of people also don't have their profile picture and don't have their name because everything they want to do on there is completely anonymous.
Yeah. That's horrible. I hate that.
It's very scary. It makes it, and like it's wild because it's so sketchy. You know, it is an app for gay men. So everybody I know on it is a man. Sure. And they're all like, why are you wearing this? Is fine. Like, it's giving me what I want. And I'm like, I can't, like, this is how you get murdered. And I think in college, one of my friends explaining Grindr to me and showing me their Grindr was the first time I really learned how fundamentally different it is to be a woman versus a man in this world where you can just be so cavalier with your safety like that. I was like, I can't. And you meet up with people, and he goes, yeah, I'll make plans same day sometimes. And I'm not shaming that. If you want to have a random, like, anonymous hookup, live your dreams, be safe, you know, wear a condom or have testing, be a safe person, but like live your dreams. I don't give a shit as long as everybody's consenting. Who gives a crap? However, can we just don't? Maybe we don't go to strangers' houses with people that we don't know their real name or that have seen their face, because I'm just so worried about you getting murdered. I'm so afraid that a man is just going to kill you.
Like, hashtag YOLO.
I don't know.
All these things. I'm so far outside of like I've been in one relationship my entire life that is with my wife. Like and we got together in high school, like pre-dating apps. Right, like, you know, we were texting each other on our fucking Motorola Razors. This is how fucking old I am. And so anytime people start talking about like dating apps and those sorts of things, I have zero frame of reference for any of that at all. So you're like, oh yeah, it shows distance. Like, this shows distance? Like, that's horrible.
And like Tinder showing mileage, that's like,
because you want people like within
your fine. Yeah,
like, within I don't want somebody all the way like 50 miles away, especially when you're in college. Sure. If you don't have a car, stuff like that.
Or if you live here, like if you live in LA, like somebody being 3 miles away from you is very different than somebody being even 10 miles away from you. Like 10 miles away, it's like, absolutely not. They're on the west side. I'm not crossing town for that shit. But the feet scares me, and Bumble fascinates me. And I don't understand what's special. Bumble is the one where
the women message first.
If you are if you are seeking a heterosexual presenting relationship, it's the woman has to message first. Okay. Because you get so many, bringing it back to the Ashley Madison thing, you get so many bots. Because it's so easy to scam men on, and I don't mean this as a knock, but it's so easy to scam men on dating sites. It's so easy.
I've come across so many porn bots, I've seen porn bots get smarter. I've been on dating apps long enough to see porn bots
get developing. As AI develops, the porn bots will become more successful.
This is what sucks about being single for so long. Not only have I seen porn bots get better, I've seen other girls that have been single as long on me, and I'm sure they've seen the reverse. I've seen people progress through life where I remake a dating app. I'm like, oh, they graduated medical school. That's good for them.
If Bert and I were to ever split up or something, or if something were to happen to our relationship, I would die alone. I would be so fucked because there's no game, right? One relationship my entire life, no game, no idea how to traverse any of these dating apps or anything. That would be it for me.
I saw a thing on Reddit today where it was a 43-year-old man.
There's a show there somewhere, man.
No, but there was a post on Reddit where somebody was like, how do I date? I'm 43 years old. My wife left me. I'm in a new state and in a rural part of the state. And I don't drink. I'm divorced with 3 kids. Nobody.
I was genuinely about to say, I was like, just go to bars, I guess. But then he's like, don't drink. I went, okay, never mind.
He's basically almost having to become content with just assuming he's going to be alone. It's rough.
That's tough, man.
But there are places online. Here's the thing. I don't think
I'm very thankful that
I think online dating as a middle-aged person is much different.
Yeah, even in the I think it was the Ashley Madison thing I was listening to, but that the idea of meeting people in bars naturally has kind of died. That's not really a thing anymore.
Is there really an old-fashioned thing now?
Yeah, and it's just because people are paranoid. Scams are a thing. We're all millennials, all young millennials, old Gen Z are really mentally fucked up. We've lived a long, hard life. Our first memory is 9/11. We lived through the 2008 recession. We graduated college into a global pandemic, which has led to us losing a big part of our 20s and going into the real world at almost 30, having no idea how to do fucking anything because we couldn't do anything. We're just all not doing too hot. None of us have money to afford going out to bars every weekend. We're just we can't. So it's
Starfield's out.
Starfield's out, though. And so it just it really becomes dating online.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Especially everyone's got a phone. The accessibility is there.
Well, this is the whole thing. This is why I wanted to bring up the Ashley Madison documentary, because I'm sitting here watching it while I'm working, right? And I'm just kind of doing my thing, and all of a sudden, it's talking about how cheating on a website for a lot of people at the beginning seemed weird because at the time, families really only had one computer, and it was usually somewhere very central in the house. And you can't be sitting in the living room on your computer while your kids are behind you watching Zoom kids fucking chatting with someone on Ashley Madison,
Right.
And then it makes a hard cut to Steve Jobs. Just a hard cut to Steve Jobs on stage announcing the iPhone for the first time. And it just shows Steve Jobs announcing the iPhone, and it's just such a relic because he's a phone, a computer, a web browser, a map, a something. These are not our.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a phone, an iPod, a GPS, and a secure web browser. These are not 4 products; they are one. The iPhone. It's just this hard cut to this man. then it cuts back to the experts they're interviewing, and they're like, now, every time you go to the bathroom, you can cheat on your spouse. I was like, who had that takeaway?
Damn.
Who got the iPhone? It was like, oh my god, cheating on my spouse is now a game changer.
Right. This changes everything.
And then they had these actors who they had interviewed people who were on Ashley Madison and had affairs and stuff like that, but they didn't want to appear in the documentary. So they have actors under fake names reading out these like messages they had sent the producers.
Oh, I thought they were just going to do like the wrestler thing where like they blur their face and voice.
No. But so one of the women is like, yeah, so it became every time I went to the bathroom, I would like shoot someone a message, and it's like, and that was a woman. I was like, that's so complicated. Just don't cheat. Just don't cheat.
I have, I think, started to hit my. For context, I am 30, almost 31 at the end of the month. I think I'm finally starting to develop old man brain a little bit in that, like we were talking about, like the iPhone like first getting announced. I'm sitting here at the point where it's like, as much utility as I get out of this for content, for work, for our jobs and all this stuff, I was like, I kind of fucking miss when all our phones were used for was messaging our friends, because there was a simplicity to life and everything, to where it was like there was so much less going on. This wasn't like just destroying my mental state at all times of the day, right?
One of my favorite comedians was on a podcast once, and they were talking about what they'd done the weekend before, and they're like, oh, we went down and we rented a house in Palm Springs, and we did mushrooms. And at one point while I was tripping, I looked at my phone and went, this is the root of all of my sadness. This is the devil's item, and I locked it in a drawer. It's like, honestly, fair. I understand you looked at your phone and was like, this is why I'm sad. Everything on this is why I'm sad.
I saw a thing, and I'll be transparent, I did only read the headline, not the whole article, but saying that like group chats might actually be killing social media, because people can just like reach the specific group of people they want to see specific content about their lives or what's going on, and that it's it's definitely had an effect in some way, because me and Leon are in multiple group chats with each other and other people, and different combinations of the same people even sometimes. I'm in multiple group chats with my family. I have group chats with a main group chat with my friends, and then a side one with just some of them as well. Like
I think with kind of the downfall of Twitter, right? I think we're starting to see like there's it's a lot of social media has become like really like decentralized at this point, in just terms of like there was definitely a point in time like when social media was really first kicking off, like everyone was on MySpace, like Facebook took over, everyone had a Facebook. If you weren't about the Facebook life, like you had Twitter for a different thing, and it's like a lot of people like me had Facebook and Twitter, and different like kind of like audiences, I guess, for lack of a better term, like on both. But now that Twitter's gone ish, I mean, basically, right?
Listen,
you
Twitter
see all
is
of these
burning
other
the ground, but
alternatives.
I'm Nero, and I'm playing that violin.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do miss when it was like every app had its own niche, where like Facebook was for like bigger things. You could post whole albums of major events. You could post life updates, and Instagram was like more like these snapshots. And I feel like a good way to describe it would be like, if you're having a big event in your life, like a wedding, you could post all that on Facebook, but then like Instagram is like, look what I'm doing this weekend. And then Twitter was always weird because it was so back.
Twitter is for young people. It is for young people to be unhinged. It's like that's literally. I just went on a whole.
It was what I used it for.
I just went on a whole like rant about this at work, because we were developing our social media trends report for next year that we put out, and somebody was like, oh, should we talk about X or like any of the Twitter like copy hopefuls that are popping up? And I was like, as somebody who's on all of them now, no. Like, and they were like, why? And I went on this whole monologue about how like yes, they were all for different things in the very beginning. Like Twitter was for very quick, like, it's 250 characters. This is what I'm doing in the moment. This is a random thought I had. Like, this is where it's going. And it developed into essentially being where we go to post our intrusive thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
That is truly what Twitter is.
But also, a big source of accurate news. Like,
well,
Twitter
that's more recent though. Like that was in its like last 5 to 7 years of existence. Like you have to remember, Twitter's been around for
it turned into
years.
that eventually.
Yeah, it turned into that because everybody on it was young. And Facebook has always kind of been, like you said, for big things. You put albums, you connect with family that like lives across the country, and like all this shit. Like you connect with all of that across the world.
And I think I remember there was I don't know if people still call it this, but for a while, like Twitter was kind of like that was the community square, right? Of the internet though, to where it's like it developed its own culture almost, like the way that you say like certain phrases or whatever or act or react to people, and then that's all kind of been burned to the ground now.
Remember when they tried to make Foursquare a social media and everybody was like, women are never going to post on this because why would women have a social media app that just posts our location? That's just giving somebody a handbook on how to stalk us. And then it fell apart because people wouldn't post on it.
I forgot about that.
Venmo was a weird one where it's like, why did you add social media capabilities to just sending money back and forth?
Because it was supposed to appeal to young people.
It feels like that bit in The Office after like Ryan starts working at corporate and he tries to build like a social media platform on their fucking like paper buying website.
Yeah.
It very much just like very out of tune. I think we should go back to I got to try and remember the name of it. Was it Yik Yak? Which was
oh my god, Yik Yak.
Yik Yak was truly like unhinged, intrusive thoughts because of its location.
Because it was location based and anonymous.
Chris, I have to ask you a question because Jordan and my experience with Yik Yak are similar but different. Where like the big thing was college. Yik Yak on your college campus was a moment in time that I will never be able to explain.
No. And so that was I was in college when freshman year.
Okay,
I was in college when it hit. I was in college when it hit, or rather, I just dropped out of college, but my roommate was still in college, and we'd go out to campus every weekend, right? And so it really was kind of like a particular point in time to where it's like you get on the Yik Yak, you see he was talking like a lot of people would be like, yo, house party here. Right.
Yeah, that was the whole thing freshman year. That was how we found parties. And then I learned frat parties don't go to frat parties. They're stupid and boring.
No, they suck.
Unless you want to be in Greek life. Let me tell you what a frat party is. Unless you want to be in Greek life,
it is a bunch of. Let me tell you.
No, it is a bunch of so women get in for free. Mm-hmm. Men, they're always going to ask you from somewhere from $5 to $20, depending on where you are and what kind of frat it is.
20's fucking crazy.
That's where you get into. That's where you get into like. Places like Tennessee and Kentucky, where Greek life at big universities in the South is a different breed. Those are the ones where they have mansions and because they have alumni that just keep it up, and it's like this whole thing. That's where you're going to be paying like 20, but that's because they're like in historic homes.
Like Ohio State has a Greek row in its older homes like that. They're not as huge, but also like. The frats out here were pretty chill, and so it was just it wasn't there wasn't a cover charge or anything, but also the parties were kind of boring.
So I'll speak specifically to UB, and I will speak specifically to the SUNY system. I went to enough parties just at colleges within the State University of New York system. Jordan and I are both SUNY graduates. Sorry to SUNYs that everything I'm about to say is about to come out of my mouth. The SUNY system hates Greek life, has hated Greek life for years, has been actively trying to make it so that SUNY colleges cannot have Greek life. But Greek life is holding on like a barnacle to a ship. It will never let go.
Well, there was a big uproar when people wanted to start a frat at my college, especially because and because the demographic of Purchase compared to other SUNYs, that's going to be the one where the students speak up and are like, no, fuck this. I kind of also never saw a point of being making it official. Because okay, if you guys just want to be the group that throws the parties, be the fucking group that throws the parties and give yourself whatever fucking title you want.
The problem is they can't get the liability insurance that they can get. Yeah. They're part of the Greek system. So my sister was in Greek life. My sister was president of her sorority, but my sister and I are fundamentally different people, if you couldn't tell. I love her dearly. Love you so much. Hope you're doing great. But we are just two very different people. And so you have all the 21-year-olds who are the ones that are like your president, vice president, treasurer, all that crap. Yeah. So you have taxes you have to pay, you have dues you have to pay, and you have all this stuff that you have to pay to the Greek system that you're a part of. The school oversees it, which is the reason they want you to be registered with them is then they are saying, we have somebody at our university who oversees these kids. Realistically, this frat has never done anything bad enough with proof for us to shut them down. So you don't have to be worried about your kid joining this frat. So then I'll use a UB example specifically. U Buffalo is a huge school. There are 3 campuses. Mm-hmm. There's the downtown campus, which is in the downtown city of Buffalo. It's a very area. There's North Campus, which is in Amherst, and then there's South Campus, which is in somewhere in Buffalo. I don't really understand where it's at, but it was in a bad area. And right off that campus was our Greek row. Now, at the very end of the Greek row, you went down there was a road, and then you went down a little hill, and there was one more frat house. That frat house was unrecognized. The reason that frat house was unrecognized is they got in trouble for roofing a ton of freshmen. Jesus Christ. It was bad. Whew. It got reported. There was proof. UB pulled their recognition. Now UB is fully within its right to put out warnings to the student body. Don't go to this fraternity. They have done this. They do not have our backing anymore. So that's why it's like important. You also get an insurance there where if another 21-year-old gets shit-faced on your property and passes out or dies or something happens, you're not in trouble because that 21-year-old should have known better. When it gets into underage, we get into issues.
And hazing.
But that's why it's important for fraternities to be registered, or fraternities and sororities to be registered with the school. Just to be fair, it's just an attempt to keep kids safe because 18 to 21-year-olds are fucking morons.
Well, and I mean, like something happens on property, like there's a liability issue as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is sometimes fraternities are actually on the property of the campus because some college campuses own a little bit of the land around their college around the actual campus. Some it's fully off, and it also gets into like who handles it. So like Buffalo, the fraternities were always in this really weird place because do the city of Buffalo police handle them? Do the town of Amherst police handle them? Or do the University of Buffalo police handle them?
Right.
And it just like, it falls into this really weird mess. But the SUNY system hates Greek life and wants it to not exist and has wanted that for a very long time. And frat parties in the North suck. I'm not going to speak to what frats are like in the South, but what a frat party essentially is and why you should just never go is it's a hot, humid, sweaty basement. The floor is either going to be wet or sticky. There are going to be a bunch of sweaty men with their shirts off. If you're a woman, they're all going to try to touch you. There will be beer pong kind of going on. If you're at a cleaner frat, it's going to be water. Just so that nobody's actually drinking anything nasty, and you're going to be expected to drink from your, like, whatever cup you have. They're also all, for the most part, BYOB. It's not like in the movies where they have, like, a huge vat. There is always an aggressive frat brother that you know is not necessarily thrilled with the party, sitting on the stairs, not letting people go upstairs because he doesn't want the bedrooms ruined. I feel for that man. There was always one guy.
Poor kid.
There was always an older guy. He already had a girlfriend. He was over this. And so we're just going to park it at the top of the stairs. However, if you are a girl, and you end up at a frat party, find the sorority sisters. They will protect you. The bond of drunk women at frat parties is unreal. I was crying once at a frat party because I was 18 and I was hammered. A sorority girl found me and was like, the brother at this frat that I'm dating, he has a cat who just had kittens. Do you want to come see the kittens? I was like, yes.
Aww.
And she brought me upstairs and we sat with kittens. Don't know that. Do not know that girl's name. Never saw her again, let alone spoke to her. But, like, frat parties are just not worth it.
She was actually an angel sent from heaven.
Honestly, maybe. Honestly, there are a lot of older... I don't know if you guys have similar experiences as men, but there are a lot of instances when I was, like, 18, 19, just starting to drink, where, like, older girls, like, have you. And that's why when I turned like 2021 and started hosting parties and all that kind of stuff, I was that person.
That's Brittany when we drink. Is she becomes the group mom, right? Like
I used to.
We're all fine.
I used to ask my friends when we were pre-gaming, I would be like, do any of you want to sleep with somebody tonight? Is that a consideration in your mind, or do you not, as sober people, that is not something you're interested in tonight? And if they told me they were not interested in that tonight, if they got hammered and were like, I'm gonna go home with this kid from our department, I would be like, no, you're not. No, you're not. If they were like, no, yeah, I'd be okay with it. I'd let them run free. I would check in to make sure that like they wanted it in the moment and could tell me yes. But like for the most, if they were like, no, I'd be like, get out of here. Because I had one friend who she would be like, I don't want to hook up with anyone tonight, and they get so drunk and just not really know where she was. And I always like I would be so mean to guys like around her. The nastiest I think I've ever been is to people around this girl. She's doing great now. She's married with kids.
It was so fun, like being like I was in a weird spot in like going to party stuff, because again I've been in the one relationship ever, and so when I was living with my boy Tom, and we were going out to campus and drinking, and we were like he was in OSU's like one of their business frats, right? So the parties were kind of dumb, but we'd bar crawl and go to clubs and shit, and it was kind of freeing not having to like you like kind of like pregame with people like, okay, like is anyone like planning on sleeping with anyone? I never had to worry about that. I could always just go and get blasted and listen to music and have a good time, because I'm like, hey, off the table, I'm good, I'm set, I've got a relationship, man. And I was watching some like early like the How I Met Your Mother last night. For some reason I was a little high and bored, and I needed a TV show. And there's an episode where they like go to a club in New York, and yeah, they go to OK, and there's that bit
where who's on first.
Similar, there's a whole thing with Lily and why can't I remember his name?
Marshall.
Thank you. Yeah, Lily and Marshall, where they're trying to be grown up, and they have like a wine tasting party at their house, and it's boring and it sucks, and they hate it, and they sneak out, and so they can go to this club and be there together. And I was like, that's almost that. It's like they managed to capture that perfectly. Like it's exactly how it feels. It was so nice. So I was just like, oh, that's me. I never get that kind of representation in media.
Oh no, I will die on the hill of going to clubs and bars is way more fun when you're in a relationship. I will stand by. I think it's way more fun when you're in a relationship, because you can just have a good time.
I can't imagine like trying to.
If you're hot, it's really fun when you're single. That's how I see it. If like you're conventionally attractive, yeah, you're gonna have the time of your life at a club.
I can't imagine trying to pick up anybody at a club. Like that's got to be the most miserable experience.
I feel like I'm easily irritated. Is maybe like, because I think
you're not social with other people. Like I'm saying this with love, and like, hey, everyone is allowed to have their own opinions, do their own things. You are not the type of person that wants to do that stuff. There are definitely people, because like I've been clubbing because I've been on bachelor parties where it's like there are people who's like, I can tell you live for this and you love this, and that's good for you.
I'm at the point though where I'm old and grumpy, and clubs kind of suck. Like I'd much rather just go to a bar.
Well, I like to. We've already talked about this a little bit. I like to be under the influence of something and listen to music and dance. It feels.
Oh no, that's fine. I say this now. If I'm drunk, absolutely, let's fucking go to the club. Are you kidding me? But like, I would never go to a club sober. That sounds horrible.
That's what you got to create.
Yeah. Exactly.
There was never any part of me that was like. And again, I'm not yucking anyone's yums. If you do this and you're into it, it's fine. I am just not. I don't. Jordan's been with me. Like, I would make out with guys at the bar, but the second they were like, oh, so you want to go home? I would vanish as fast as possible. Later. That's not really what I'm looking for here.
Right.
Like, I would just, there
needs to be a bar that just has like a make out night. They're like, hey, everybody here just wants to get drunk and make out, but no one wants to go home with anyone.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many times did you see me do that where I'd be like, I'm going to make out with this guy, and then I would reappear like an hour later, and you were like, what did you do? And it's like, well, he wanted me to go home with him, so he went to the bathroom and I ditched him. And it's too crowded in here. He's never going to find me again, so who gives a shit?
Listen, we'll call the bar first base.
Yeah, like it's I I listen to too much true crime to ever go home with a man I don't know. Like, are you kidding me? I don't like getting in an Uber without like sharing my location to 6 different people and constantly updating it. You think I'm going to go home with a random guy I've never met before? Absolutely not.
You are also more paranoid than the average person.
I'm incredibly paranoid about being murdered, but I am very paranoid about being murdered.
Talk about murder the way you know how there's the joke of like, oh, when I was a kid, I thought quicksand was going to be way more common.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about murder as if it's like quicksand in a cartoon. Like it's just happening to people left and right.
Because it is.
It does.
Because it is. People die every day. How many people get murdered a day in America? I'm looking this up now. How many
A lot
people
is the answer. It's a lot.
murdered a day?
Okay. I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would ever want to move here.
I feel like we got to take manslaughter and third degree out of the equation. You know, one's an accident, one's a moment.
The average number of people murdered a day is 44.7. The highest number of people murdered in one day in the U.S., I'm assuming that this is not part of a mass killing just because of the number, but the highest number of people murdered per day is 90. The lowest number is 9.
Okay, 44 out of like 300 million?
That's still a lot.
That's a lot of people being murdered. Suburban areas have a daily murder rate of 4 people per 100,000 people. That seems high.
Everything's fucked, dude.
That feels high, and that's suburban area. That's suburban. Like,
I feel like it doesn't seem terribly high.
This podcast has gone places.
Jordan, we grew up just outside Newburgh, New York, which is constantly on the list of 10 most dangerous cities in America. So I was really very much trained in that everybody is trying to murder. We have a man who wanders around Poughkeepsie in a Scream mask. No one knows who he is. He just wanders around in a Scream mask and a black cloak.
And because he's wearing the Scream mask, we don't know if he's the guy that used to walk up and down the main road dressed as the Joker. We don't know if this is the same man.
We don't know if it's the same dude. So yeah, I grew up, and Jordan, when we were like 5, a serial killer was caught just outside our hometown. Like, I feel like I am naturally paranoid. Yes, I feel like I am naturally like a safe amount paranoid about being murdered. But yeah, I assume all men have bad ulterior motives and that they would not question murdering me. So
you guys remember when there was like that string of just like seeing people dressed up as clowns in really sketchy areas?
Yes. In 2016, we were in college. It was a bad time.
I was going home that weekend, stopped by Party City to buy a clown mask to fuck with my family. And let me tell you, walking into Party City to buy a clown mask they were looking at me like I needed to be arrested. I was like, nah, this is just to fuck with my family. I also saw somebody go, so wait, is this people dressed as clowns or like real clowns? And someone went,
because
what the fuck is a real clown?
I remember that was coming. I remember thinking it was just like some like viral marketing thing because like the It remake was coming out, right?
Oh. Yes, everybody, because Stephen King had to come out and be like, we have nothing.
Like we didn't do. Yeah, it was just like never explained. There was just suddenly clowns everywhere. It was
it's like there were a few places that balloons were tied to sewers. That was us. Anything with the clowns was not us.
So weird.
Like it was and that was in the fall of 2016, leading up to the 2016 election. It was a very chaotic time to live on a college campus.
Yeah,
listen, that was just coming off Pokemon Go Summer. Right? Like, we went from we went to Pokemon Go Summer. We had Clown Fall, and then we had Election Winter.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was a hell of a year.
It was I remember like getting emails from the school. Right? What?
2016 was like just the turning point of the bad timeline.
It was. I feel like it was just a very weird time to be in college. Because I remember getting emails that was like, if you see clowns, please do not approach them. We hate that we have to say this, but to the men on our campus, please don't dress up as clowns. It's not funny. I also like that they singled out the fraternities and men on our campus not to do it, because you absolutely know there is no woman on the planet that is dressing up as a clown to just wander the wilderness.
That said, I would pay like an absurd amount of money to go back to Pokemon Go Summer. Like that, genuinely, I can't remember the last time that the world has felt that united.
Okay, you know what? Another thing on why I'm afraid of being murdered. three different groups found dead bodies during that, which that's not their fault. They were out exploring, but they had like a Stand By Me. They went from Pokemon Go summer to Stand By Me. Like, it's not, the vibe.
Pokemon Go to the police.
I will still die on that hill. Pokemon Go to the polls. Still, that lost for the election. I'm
positive that was it, man. It had to.
She was so close to making a good point, and then just fumbled it.
And then it's like, because of that, it's like the entire internet like dogpiled on her. Like, this is so like that was so fucking stupid.
Now, with talk about Pokemon Go Summer in 2016 being like when I know people like to joke about Harambe being like that's what ruined the timeline.
Right.
However, Chris, you'll get this. Somebody point out maybe it was Pokemon Go's fault because Team Mystic, Team Instinct, Team Valor upset not the Trinity of Fire, Ice, and Lightning.
Oh.
Right? We fucked up, man. They should have made these teams completely fucking different mascots.
Thus the world shall turn to ash.
Yeah.
Oh, shit! I'm gonna go watch Pokemon 2000 tonight. Fuck
hell yeah.
Ooh, okay, this is the final thing I'm going to close us off on, because this is how I wanted to close this podcast, and we need to start wrapping up. Really, we need to reconsider next time having the 30 people with ADHD alone is maybe not the good, because, okay, you guys can disagree with me. You guys can disagree with me. I feel like I'm the most, like, I'll keep us on a timeline out of the three of us, and I'm not great at it, so, like, I derail my fair amount of meetings.
I can do it when I need to. I just choose not to.
Yeah, and then like we don't need to now.
This is way more fun.
This is a podcast where we don't need to really be on one thing.
Listen, I had a rough week.
It's one of those things to where it's like with Media Club, or This Is the Way Point over. It's like, yeah, we have a direction, we have a thing that we need to talk about. Usually, if I'm hosting, I'll let things kind of divert for a minute, and then I'll be like, all right, back on track. For a Shared Screen podcast though, fuck it, dude. It's like a shotgun blast. Like we'll see where all this shrapnel ends up, And
the thing is, those are my favorite kind of podcasts, which is why I always lean into that, because I love to listen to I have to take I have like a prescription and everything for it, but I take THC to sleep because I have horrific insomnia. Yeah. And so what I like to do is I take the THC that I take to sleep, and then I listen to a podcast that's like the Kind of Funny podcast, or like something where it's just a bunch of friends talking about like a random topic. I'll also listen to like Rhett and Link's podcast, Ear Biscuits, the guys from Good Mythical Morning, because it's just like, and I just listen to that to fall asleep. Or I listen to episodes of Conan's podcast where he has other comedians that he's known for a really long time on, because those take on a very similar vibe just because they've been friends for so long. Like the episode he just did with Martin Short and Steve Martin just feels like three friends like shooting the shit.
When I think about like the kind of content that got me interested in wanting to do stuff like this, it was very much like the Kind of Funny podcast. Like I was especially like the Rooster Teeth podcast, or whatever the fuck Achievement Hunter called theirs, and that sort of thing. Because like the ones where they were like just sitting down and shooting the shit, and like something like somebody says something ridiculous and everyone flies off the handle, and it causes like the conversation to take a far left turn. Like those always end up being my favorite ones. Like there's something about kind of that. And I know there's like that meme of like this dude like sitting next to a picture of like these two people laughing at a table, and then he's also like laughing at the photo, like he's laughing at the table, and that is kind of what it feels like. But I think there is something kind of fun about just like sitting down and listening to like some friends talk for a bit. Like, I don't know.
And here's the thing, I want to start, y'all can disagree with me, but I want to start, especially on podcasts where like Zencaster, which is what we record on, hates Chance. So Chance, we have to still record in Discord, hates him so much. So maybe on ones where we're on Discord already, I want to start like, I want to bring a PowerPoint. I don't want to tell you guys what the PowerPoint is yet.
I want to do like, have you seen like on TikTok? There's people who have like a night where they put together the most ridiculous PowerPoint presentations they could come up with. I would love to do that. Are you kidding me?
Two of my friends in the city have been doing it with their like friend group monthly, and I'm like, fucking invite me one of these because I will do a great one.
I want to do that so badly. It'd be so much fun.
This is a minute away, and we would have to warn Josh. But on October 1st, the three of us and Josh are doing a podcast, and I feel like that's a great time to.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, I'm so on board. I'm so on board.
On a slightly separate note, SAG is now also striking against the video game companies.
We don't know that for sure yet.
SAG is contemplating striking against the video game companies, and so there is a very good chance that we are not going to be allowed to talk about any content coming out from movies to television shows to video games in solidarity.
Literally everything that we do is about to be struck work.
So I feel like it's a great time to do stupid PowerPoints.
Yeah, Lauren literally sent two screenshots in a group chat with our other friend yesterday. Fran, just already on a first name basis with Madam Nanny. Fran, I cannot bring this to the SSP. You gotta make a deal. And then a second screenshot, which used Insomniac's Spider-Man just to get clicks. And she was like, Spider-Man comes out in 2 months. We cannot do this to Jordan.
Oh, okay, no, you know why I sent that? I sent that specifically because I was like, oh, maybe they won't go against Insomniac. Maybe Insomniac isn't on the list. I need the list of studios.
Yeah.
And then I saw the list of studios. I was like, God fucking damn it, guys! Yeah. Come on!
I like to think... And I'm saying this out of love, that it wasn't like you're going, poor Jordan won't get to make content. Be like, if Jordan doesn't get to talk about it on a podcast, he'll bother me with it.
I have to listen to it. And it's also like, I was the one who brought the, hey, I'm not comfortable crossing the line when the SAG and WGA strikes started. And I was like, I cannot come to them and be like, hey, I want to gut the rest of what we do. I'm sorry, but my need to not cross a picket line, I'm just going to gut us.
We're going to become a retro podcast.
And it's one of those things too, to where it's like, I'm glad we had that meeting. We have a lot of meetings off camera, by the way. We are surprisingly more organized than I think people would expect. But
like our Twitter currently shows.
Right, yeah. And so I think we're all more than happy to like stand in solidarity with that sort of thing. And it's like we wouldn't want to put you in that position. But also I am so... Like, I totally feel you, Jordan, just with Ahsoka. I'm so mad that film execs are the way they are, because that's like the one show out of anything Disney Plus has made that I wanted to do a podcast about, right? And so it's just like, it's so frustrating. And like, just fucking pay your people. It's like, I'm so sick of sitting and seeing all this happen. Like, I mean, it's... especially like when you get into Star Wars and stuff, just with Bob Iger making millions of dollars like a day and like still like refusing to pay the people that make him his money. Like, it's just, I don't get it, man.
And so this is where I have landed, is if we get gutted by the video game companies also refusing to pay actors what they
We're becoming a retro games podcast. Fuck
We're
it.
Becoming
I can finally start our football podcast. I'm going to start a music one. Screw it, dude.
Let us know.
We're going to make video drama reviews.
Yeah, let us know what PowerPoints you want to see. And I have decided that, you know what content we can talk about because they're not being struck against? Anime. Maybe this is when I get into anime and I just make a bunch of content about learning what it's like to watch anime that isn't Tokyo Mew Mew and Sailor Moon.
My work,
oh my god,
is
last
something that I would
come
love
out
to...
on Friday.
What?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Chris. I was just the irony, of course, being that it's like I would love to talk about the Netflix One Piece show. Nope, not happening.
Can't.
No. Later talk about anime reminded me that Ash's final episodes air probably they'll be out by the time this podcast goes
out.
That's what go up the next day.
Oh my! I watched the final battle, like just not the. Oh my god! I fucking wept.
I haven't seen any of it yet. Like I've been waiting for the English translation. I've been waiting.
They're all on Netflix now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. That's what I meant when it's Ashes aired in March. They're coming to America this Friday. The final 12, where he goes back with Misty and Brock. So the final battle has been on since June.
Okay. Sorry, I was referring to like that final like 12. I haven't watched any of that. I did watch the final battle.
Yeah, the final 12 come out.
It's very good. They put the OG theme in it.
I looked it up. Confirmed by two of the people on the board of SAG-AFTRA and the WGA. Anime, even dubbed by American actors, is not struck work.
Okay, yes. There we go.
It is not struck work, so we can talk about the Pokemon show. We can talk about any animes. Maybe I will do a deep dive into the new Tokyo Mew Mew. Well, because I don't remember.
If anyone also like needs that kind of like representation or not representation, that kind of
push
feature show, push to watch.
Like what? No, I just mean I feel like it's a matter of time before like anime voice work gets struck though too. Like,
I know, but I can enjoy it while it lasts.
Unionization, it's them, man. Like they're definitely a part of it too.
And listen, anything that's already out, not struck. So
yeah.
No, yes it is. Yes it is.
What?
It's struck.
Things that have even old stuff.
Yes. That is why Raul Coley will not name Midnight Mass on anything he does. Is because that's why Comic-Cons are gutted. That's why all of that is gutted, is because they cannot talk about anything made by any of the companies that are being struck against. So anything represented currently by the AMPTP. That is all struck work. You can't promote any of it.
It's rough, man.
It's why they're delaying all of these movies. They need movies to come out next year, and they don't have enough. Remember when they told us they had enough to get us to Christmas 2024, even if the writers struck the entire year?
Yeah,
remember when they lied about that?
A fucking lie.
Yeah. And I support them. The work they're doing is invaluable and absolutely needed. The things that Netflix especially was trying to slip into their contracts about AI owning the likeness of their actors, where they could do anything they wanted with your likeness of voice, that's not okay, and absolutely not something. I think Disney was doing that too, yeah. Yeah, that is absolutely not something we need to be doing. The times when we used AI to replace actors that had sadly passed away is not like what the norm should be. Like, the pushback those got should have gotten the pushback. Like, they should have gotten that pushback. And as somebody who uses AI every day for work, it will never write the kind of stories that, like, AI would never write Barbie. AI would never write Oppenheimer. Right. That's something only humans can write. So what they are doing is invaluable and will make writing and possibly acting actually livable for the people who live in one of the most expensive counties in the country who don't qualify for health insurance. So, like, we obviously stand in full solidarity with all of the striking.
And I mean, it's like, you'll get your chuds on the internet who will rail against, like, very successful actors who are promoting this stuff. They're like, oh, you don't make enough money already, blah blah blah. But the thing is like, I don't think that people realize, like, how fucking miserable life is without good art either, though. And
65% of SAG does not make the $26,000 a year required to get health insurance through the union. Yeah. The majority of people who are in these unions are not the Chris Evans and Meryl Streeps and Jane Fondas. It's not them. It's a lot of, like, any character actor. Anytime somebody walks on screen, you're like, oh, that guy. That's who they're fighting for. It's those kind of actors.
The glove shows.
Like, yeah, or if you, like, watched, no one did, now it's been tarnished a little bit, but if you watch Lovecraft County, a lot of those actors were up and coming actors. It's people like them that you're fighting for so that they can keep being in these amazing projects. I'm so sad that show got canceled, but also would have gotten canceled when Jonathan Majors got in trouble, and either way, it was going to end before I wanted it to, and it's just so sad. It's so sad. It was so good.
Silver lining. We might finally get a chance to hit up our backlogs for if the video game companies get struck, man. Oh man, backlog season, baby.
I know, right?
Indie art is about to have a resurgence because A24 met all of SAG and WGA's demands. They met all of them, and they are allowed to keep working. So A24 stuff we are allowed to do. Indie video games are really realistically not who's going to be getting struck against. There are great indie games that we can talk about. Like, it just means life isn't going to be as easy for us in what we cover. We're going to have to, like,
I know we're on here complaining, like, damn, I wish I could, talk about Ahsoka or Spider-Man and all those things, like, and we'll sit here and be like, it's so hard to be a content creator right now. Like, we'll be fine. It's like we recognize where the actual, like, importance of this issue is, and
our frustration is not with the writers and actors.
No, yeah, we'll complain a little bit, but we'll also be okay. Like, whatever.
Even when we complain, it's like, fuck Bob Iger.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And whoever told Deadline we're going to hold this strike out until people start losing their homes. You did that anonymously, but fuck you too. Come on.
They did it anonymously because they knew.
And as Ron Perlman said, there's a lot of ways to lose the house.
On the record, I cannot imagine, because if you give
that saying that out loud and meaning it,
Yeah, and saying you can print this as long as it's a not. No,
right.
I mean, Netflix came out and said, well, if we agree to the demands here, we'll have to agree to the demands to other actors in other countries.
And everyone's like, yes.
South Korea is now threatening to strike, which is awesome because the people who worked on Squid Game, which is one of Netflix's most popular projects, got paid dirt and treated like absolute ass. Like,
my wife's also a huge fan of like K dramas and stuff. like I know we'd be down to be like, yeah, fight for them, baby. Those things rule.
and
Because I think Netflix was like after Squid Game was like started bringing over like a shit ton of like K dramas and stuff and leaning
oh yeah, because
heavy
their
into
whole
that.
plan was if American writers are going to keep demanding money, we'll just go to these writers in South Korea who will do
Oh
anything to get
gosh.
their stuff on
Oh
Netflix.
dear. Oh no.
And Netflix does a lot of like dubbed and foreign stuff
Yeah.
already.
And
look at
to
her.
close us out, imagine being this peaceful. She has no idea what the strikes are. She
Just
doesn't
look
know
at
who the
her.
president is. She doesn't care. She's just waiting for me to give her lunch.
Oh, to be a cat on a bed.
Yeah, like I'm just low-key like jealous.
What a schmood.
Yeah, they're just snoozing.
For
I'm
life.
jealous of animals a lot of the time. They have it easier.
Oh yeah, Cusco's over in his bed right now. Which, by the way, you'll like this. We found a bed for Cusco that's in the shape of the Doom buggy from the Haunted Mansion ride.
Nice.
And it's got like the wallpaper and the hitchhiking ghosts on the back of like the wall. But he's just sitting there, a little freeloader, hanging
Has
out.
no idea.
No,
He doesn't pay
yeah,
taxes. He has
no.
no straight.
All he has to do is walk, eat, and sleep. Like that's it.
Yep. And like,
It's the life,
it's
man.
I always see that tweet that's like, every time my pet sighs, I'm like, what ails you, my little freeloader?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Are you having a hard day?
Like Friday night, I got home from work and I'm sitting with Cleo and she snuggles into me and just goes, and I'm like, all you did today was move from my bed to the couch. Why are you have nothing to sigh about.
Rough day, man.
But she's so small, so that's like, the exodus from Egypt.
To be fair,
Hard life.
Cleo is very small, and that is kind of a journey. She is, like 7 pounds and a foot long, but you're fine. One day, the day is coming when I have to get stairs for Cleo to get up on my bed. Yeah.
On that note.
On that note, follow us on all our social medias. We're pretty much at Shared Screens Pod everywhere. I wasn't kidding. If you have animes, I have never watched anime before. The only animes I've ever watched are Sailor Moon and Tokyo Mew Mew. My work friends are recommending Bleach. If you support that, let me know. If you have other ones you think I should watch first, let me know.
Cowboy Bebop.
I do want to watch Cowboy Bebop. I also just started like a month or so ago Castlevania, but that's more like high fantasy.
Castlevania's real good.
Yeah, that was
really
my into. I learned with Legends of Vox Machina that like my into anime is really like high fantasy stuff.
Yeah, Castlevania's a great one too. Like going into October and stuff, because I mean, Dracula's vampire, spooky, and they're about to start another series, I think, too. Just because the Castlevania games are all about like the different Belmonts and stuff, and so I think they're about to adapt it like a different one in the games, which is really exciting.
Yes, they are. There is another. Yeah, it comes out like next year or something like that. But if you have anything you've ever heard us talk about or that we're into, want to see us present a PowerPoint, let us know. Other than that, this is why I don't host, is I don't know how to do outros. We'll talk to you later. Follow us on shit. Pay your writers. Have fun. Happy Sunday. Bye.
Listen to Hosier, I guess.
Yeah.